This is Ukradowski of WeAreChange.org here in Phoenix, Arizona, and just a friendly reminder.
If I may have your attention, please. Will Mr. Clinton kill Epstein? Meet your party at the grocery entrance. Mr. Clinton kill Epstein. Please go to grocery entrance to meet with your party. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is a lady somewhere in middle America at a Walmart, of course, reminding people about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, since, you know, there's a massive cover-up happening right now by the police, government, and mainstream media surrounding the larger implications of it. So that's why we got pranksters like this guy and an independent media organization to remind you of that and your fellow citizens of this country that there is an above-the-law criminal powerful network out there that is pretty much in power of many important institutions in our society. So while we still have this freedom to still somehow voice our opinion here about these issues, cover the facts surrounding them, a privilege that is slowly being taken away from us, just like we see taken away in China. This also is happening in the West, which is why it is more critically important now than ever to support independent media. And you could support this very channel that's providing you this video without even spending a dime. If you go to wearechange.org/donate, we have many referral links to free crypto privacy-backed services like Brave that if you use and actually save a whole bunch of time on, regain some of your data privacy, or even using an alternative search engine like Presearch that actually pays you in crypto for searching and using the platform, you can essentially support us with a win-win situation for both parties. And why shouldn't you? And this is why you should go to wearechange.org/donate and check out the alternatives that we have listed for you right here. And yeah, also don't forget to sign up on our email list, which will be the first link available to you in the description of this video, since of course many people are telling me like, hey, Luke, you're most likely about to be totally eviscerated and deleted from YouTube, which is a little unsettling. So yeah, the email list will be the best way to get in contact with us, and that will be the first link in the description of this video. Okay, now let's actually get to the news that you won't hear on the BoobTube. And yet, we got another important revelation coming out about the Jeffrey Epstein case, where we have a former Israeli spy coming out and saying what, again, this is important here, we've been saying this for years. If you've been watching this YouTube channel, we've been putting the pieces together, talking about this for years. This is no surprise, but this is yet another piece to the puzzle that confirms what we've been saying, and that is that Jeffrey Epstein was running not only a child trafficking organization, but doing so to predominantly blackmail politicians to do the bidding of intelligence agencies and special interests. Now, this former Israeli spy is also suspected to be the handler of Robert Maxwell, who was a media mogul whose daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, was of course connected to the operation. And he allegedly told the authors of a new book that Epstein, along with Ghislaine Maxwell, were, quote, agents of Israeli intelligence services, and that they were taking photos of politicians, forcing themselves onto children, and then later using that information to blackmail politicians. Now, this same person is also alleging that there was a similar operation with Harvey Weinstein, and Harvey Weinstein did, this is confirmed, hire ex-Israeli intelligence, ex-Mossad agents to harass his victims and suppress the allegations against him. The specific private intelligence agency was called Black Cube, and they're the ones who were pressuring, intimidating, and trying to bury the Harvey Weinstein story. Now, the book is called Epstein, Dead Man Tell No Tales, and I will be following this story very closely to confirm a lot of these allegations that just have been made. But again, if you really follow this story like we've been following it for so long, all the pieces of the puzzle fit to this particular narrative. Now, there was also other unverified information that we covered on this YouTube channel telling you specifically that it has not been verified of an alleged hacker that was enticing the top lawyers in the Jeffrey Epstein case with alleged footage of politicians doing these horrible activities with small children. Now, according to the New York Times, the lawyers of Jeffrey Epstein's victims allegedly actually devised a plan to use this incriminating information in order to get money and private settlements to the victims. And now we're getting reporting that this supposed shadowy hacker never actually came forward with the evidence that he claimed to have, and actually exposed the lawyers of these victims to try to supposedly rake in millions, duping the victims' lawyers. And if this is true, this paints a horrible light on the victims' lawyers who, if this is true, again, there's no official confirmation of this, and it wouldn't surprise me if this was smear or blackmail by the establishment to try to go against the defense here. But if this is true, this would look horrible for the defense of the victims, who would prioritize money over, of course, public exposure of what actually was happening here, which is far more important than a couple $1 million. Since again, thousands. I don't see anyone putting the pieces together with this particular fact, but there were thousands of children here. Some of them missing in this entire case, and this is a huge case that it's far more important than a couple $1 million. And the truth should always come first here in a morally right system, which of course our system is absolutely not. Our system not only aided and abetted, but protected and worked, and now is working to cover up important information about how horrible this entire situation is. And what do our government officials do? Well, they want to empower the TSA. This is literally just the most insane thing. Two congressmen from North Jersey are asking and urging the federal regulators and the federal government to empower the TSA here to supposedly help combat trafficking. When you look at the entire situation, the entire system is guilty here. Okay? And you only want to empower the TSA. The whole government, the whole Justice Department needs to be fired immediately for their dereliction of duty and allowing this abuse of children to go on for decades. The police officers involved here, the federal authorities involved here, the politicians connected to him, all of them need to be at least questioned to their dereliction of duty, if not their active criminal activity, doing the worst human actions that they could. And I'll bet you, even from a simple questioning, which hasn't been happening on the mainstream media, hasn't been happening by the authorities, which are guilty here, even from a basic questioning, more than half of the people questioned would probably end up in jail, if laws were actually followed in this case. But they weren't. They absolutely weren't. And what did the police do? Well, of course, with Jeffrey Epstein, with numerous children coming to the police department in Miami and in other jurisdictions saying, hey, this is a clear case of abuse here. What did they do? They turned a blind eye. The NYPD turned a blind eye and didn't even care if Jeffrey Epstein checked in for his parole. But what did the police do in this country? They're allowing such criminals to go loose, but try to feed some homeless people? No, they'll be on you like white on rice. Try to protest? Oh no, they'll be all over you. And again, the evidence is just mounting here, and it's undeniable. There's even a second victim coming forward saying that she had physical relations with Prince Andrew. And again, no one is going after Bill Clinton here, which again, in our last video when we talked about this, according to another witness, has been at the New Mexico Jeffrey Epstein ranch quite often. And again, as the media is obsessing about Prince Andrew, which we're getting all the information about, what about Clinton, who, according to some sources, was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend? And it's not just politicians here, it's also technocrats like the heads of Google, like Sergey Brin. And gee, I wonder, since independent media has been screaming about this, since independent media has been exposing this when the mainstream media, like ABC News, has been hiding and covering up. I wonder why Google, Alphabet, YouTube, all one party, are now punishing independent media and promoting ABC News and pushing them to your recommendations while demonetizing, downranking, and deleting channels like this. Gee, oh yeah, they all knew each other. What a surprise there. As there was even a Jeffrey Epstein dinner organized by Ghislaine Maxwell with all these individuals, including Donald Trump, including Bill Clinton's top aides, which again, institutions like the mainstream media promoted, like New York Magazine, even putting in their piece, quote, "I had rich shock. One stunned guest says about Epstein's house, which the owner claims is the largest private dwelling in the city, at a recent dinner organized by Ghislaine Maxwell." Again, they celebrated these people. They promoted them. They pushed them in the mainstream media and worked with them one-on-one. It is one big club, and you're not in it. So yeah, as Vanity Fair puts it, the Jeffrey Epstein case shows that paranoia is the only possible response to this moment. And yeah, this man was everywhere, connected to everyone. The alleged powerful pimp above him, Ghislaine Maxwell, still free, still unquestioned. Police in the UK don't think it's important to question Prince Andrew about the many witnesses coming forward. As Donald Trump, who's known him for 20 years, has been pictured with him for 20 years, has golfed with him, has been his own private escort for 2 days, says doesn't know the man. So we're actively seeing a massive criminal cover-up happening right now by the establishment, which is that one big club. And we wonder why there is so much unrest, why there is so much distrust, especially globally around the world, as we move into our next subject, and that, of course, is the global unrest that has hit a new high in France. And if you remember from our reporting just a few days ago, that the situation in Paris will get even wilder than it already is coming in early December with the nationwide strike plan, which is essentially shutting down the entire city of Paris, even pinning firefighters against police officers that are fighting each other in the streets, with major roads being blocked, trains disrupted, as this civil unrest, as we've been telling you, this global civil unrest, specifically in France, that I've been documenting, is not going away. Movements like the Yellow Vest will, of course, rise and go down in prominence, but the underlying issues that are causing these strikes, these protests, have not gone away, and they will be spurring more of them. And again, a lot of people here are worried, since this is having a very significant impact. But this is what you get from the neoliberal, corporatist, globalist, banker, Rothschild approved leadership of Macron, who again, oddly, was painted as the savior of Europe by the mainstream media, which again just shows you the delusion and just the mistruths that you see on the boob tube over there. All of it is a lie. All of it is just PR. And in related not trusting the authorities news, we have an insane video coming out of Florida, where police officers, 19 of them, unloaded a hail of gunfire at a hijacked UPS truck that left many people dead, including innocent bystanders, with, of course, also many people injured, which surprisingly, UPS responded by thanking the authorities when, again, one of their drivers was innocent and killed in this incident, which the internet is shocked by that response. But I have to remind you, incidences like this happen often because of poor and very limited training of proper gun safety of our law enforcement. Our law enforcement, compared to other nations, has very insignificant training of firearms, and especially how and when to use them. And this is why, again, there's been so many of these incidences that I could just bring up. This happens a lot. Sadly, a lot of innocent people are hurt because of this malpractice that these officers should be held accountable for. But sadly won't. In other, that's really dumb, this shouldn't happen news, we of course have the latest information coming from a major incident inside a U.S. military installation where a U.S. military trained Saudi gunman went on a shooting spree, killing 3 and wounding 8 others before being taken down himself in yet another incident of Sunni Wahhabism extremism, which again, people are afraid to talk about in the mainstream media, which again, Donald Trump bows down to, holds globes with, and aids and abets. This is, I mean, how many times do I have to keep talking about the horrible actions, the horrible teachings that are promoted and paid for by Saudi Arabia that, again, not only allows this to happen, but is the direct financer of the schools and mosques and radical teachings of predominantly the individuals who create terrorism in the West. And when this incident happened, we of course saw the mainstream media first jump on it, being excited, and then when they found out it was a Saudi national, well, they stopped covering it, even on Reddit. A lot of the top news surrounding this particular topic, especially when the shooter's identity was known, was just deleted. And of course, when the mainstream media, Anderson Cooper, was all ramping up to talk about most likely white males, well, that didn't happen. And now this is a story that's being buried, since of course it exposes one of the bigger, more destructive relationships of the U.S. war machine, the U.S. military-industrial complex, and that is the Saudi role in all of this. Now, we have seen 6 Saudi students arrested here, including 3 who filmed the attack as the man put his manifesto hours on Twitter before doing the action. And again, the signs were all there. This man was even linked to the previous 9/11 hijackers. And the day before, this madman also organized a viewing party of other shootings. And again, it's also important to note here that the 9/11 hijackers that committed the action in 2001 also received training, not all of them, some of them, training from U.S. government installations, while of course some of them had their visas approved when they were on do not fly list. And yeah, that is the controlled propaganda matrix that we're all living in, with important truths that of course many people are too afraid to tell you. So, since we're telling you this, we need your help and support, specifically with just sharing this video. All it does, maybe even a like if you want to. If you like this video, like it. But sharing this video is essential for it to go out and for these broadcasts to continue, because again, because of the issues, the topics that we talk about here, obviously we're going after very powerful individuals, and with that comes a lot of risk. And with that risk comes a lot of opportunities to try to silence us and shut us down. And one of the ways that they do that is, of course, by limiting the view of this video. You could directly change that. And the few of you that do, thank you so much, because it allows me still to be here. And this is why I love you guys. Thank you so much, sincerely, for allowing me to do this job for you, these videos for you, these actions for you, and future very interesting projects for you. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.